Welcome to the new user orientation for UCLA Nanofabrication Laboratory, or NanoLab. Here's the outline of the presentation. Please make sure you read the content of every slide. Feel free to pause the video if needed. To start the application process, you need to fill out these forms properly and have the appropriate signatures from your PI. The EH&S Lab Safety Fundamental Concepts Certificate will be given once you have completed the course from EH&S Online. Please go to the UCLA EH&S website for more information. Here is the procedure for the application. After the forms and certificate are completed, you need to finish watching this video and read the related documents. After you're ready, you can take the safety test online. The link to the online safety test will be given to you by the NanoLab staff. Once you finish and pass the test, you can then attend the safety walkthrough at the CNSI and Engineering 4 cleanrooms. You will also be given your badges at the walkthrough. After you complete the walkthrough, you can attend the core training on basic equipment in the two cleanrooms. To study for the safety test and learn the protocols of the cleanrooms, please read the following documents: EH&S Laboratory Safety Guide and Chemical Hygiene Plan, UCLA Nanofabrication Laboratory User Guide, and the Standard Operating Procedures, or SOP, of different chemicals that you will use. NanoLab Overview. The mission of the facility is to provide a state-of-the-art cleanroom environment for micro and nano fabrication. The facility is open to UCLA, non-UCLA academic, private sector, and government researchers. There are two cleanrooms, one in CNSI building and the other in Engineering 4. Both places require a badge to enter. Both cleanrooms are open 24/7. The facilities have staff from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Monday through Friday. Outside of staff hours, there is a buddy system in place. It means that you must be accompanied by another user inside the cleanroom. Here is a list of the capabilities of the two cleanrooms. Please read through them and see if it has the equipment you need. The engineers of NanoLab are full-time university staff who are in charge of process development, equipment maintenance, and training. If you have problems fabricating your device or structure, feel free to contact and schedule an appointment to discuss with the staff. Safety protocols. Since there are lots of hazardous chemicals and equipment in the cleanroom, safety is top priority. All users should study and know the safety rules and protocols before using the facility. Everyone in UCLA must take the Laboratory Safety Fundamentals course from EH&S before using any laboratory. This course provides a basic knowledge on lab safety. Please study the NanoLab User Guide before using the facility. If you know what chemicals you will be using, please read the corresponding safety data sheets. The sheets will give you the detailed information on the hazards and first aid procedure for these chemicals. You will need to wear safety goggles at all times inside the cleanrooms, except when using a microscope. Please also remember the location of the safety equipment and emergency exits. Make sure you follow the buddy system outside of the staff hours. If there is an alarm or emergency that requires evacuation, please follow these steps. First, you have a 10-second window to secure your work. Next, you must exit the cleanroom through the nearest emergency exit immediately without removing your lab gown. Then follow the escape route to the meeting point outside of the building. Please make sure that you reach the designated meeting point, not others around the building. The SDS of all chemicals in the cleanroom is in a binder at the lab entrance. When you want to bring in a new type of chemical into the cleanroom, please contact NanoLab staff first for approval. You will also need to send the corresponding SDS to the staff for review. Some chemicals require a lab-specific SOP before it can be approved. The user must prepare SOP and submit it to NetLab staff for review as part of the approval process. After the chemical is approved, the user must label the bottle with the date, PI, and a contact phone number so the staff and other users know the owner of the chemical. Carriers, like the one shown on the slide, must be used when you transport chemicals in the lab. You should not heat flammable liquid in general. Heated chemicals should be cooled to room temperature before moving or disposing. We practice chemical segregation, so please make sure you store chemicals in the designated places. The chemical bottle should always be returned to the appropriate cabinets after usage. Whenever you're handling a chemical, you should use a wet bench. Make sure the Magnehalic reader on the bench has a reading that is greater than 0. If it does not, please stop using the bench and notify the staff immediately. When you finish using the bench, please push any setup left behind to the back of the bench. If you use a hot plate, please make sure it is turned off before you leave. All beakers should be labeled with 5 pieces of information before usage: username, contact number, beaker content, date and time started, and the date and time expected to finish. A beaker with content should not be left on a bench for more than 24 hours without notification. Do not cover a beaker containing acid with aluminum foil. PPE should be worn whenever you're handling a hazardous chemical. You need to get your own chemical resistant gloves that correspond to the chemical being handled. There are chemicals that only require reduced PPE condition. Please refer to the user guide. Do not wear PPE away from the wet benches. Please put the PPE on in the following order: apron first, face shield second, and then the chemical resistant gloves last. After you finish handling chemicals, please remove the PPE in the reverse order: chemical resistant gloves first, face shield second, and then the apron last. You must collect all unused chemical and chemical waste you generated. Do not pour any down a drain. When you finish using all the chemical inside a bottle, please triple rinse it. Then apply a triple rinse label over any previous label to the bottle so there is no confusion. The triple rinse bottles and new empty bottles can be used for chemical waste collection. This is the procedure of collecting chemical waste. A hazardous waste tag, like the one shown here, must be prepared beforehand and attached to the bottle. Do not fill a waste bottle to the brim. Make sure you either use the correct pre-printed waste tag or fill out a blank one properly. The rules are shown here. For the bottles containing chemical waste, if the waste contains hydrogen peroxide, hydroxides, or aqua regia, then vented caps must be used to relieve pressure. Please make sure you fill out the waste tag correctly. Here is an example of incorrect label. Here is another example of incorrect label. Here is an example of incorrect label on a beaker with chemical inside. Here is the protocol for cleaning up chemical spills. If a spill is less than 1 liter, then it's a small spill. Please note that the exception to this protocol is HF and BOE. If there is an HF, ammonia fluoride, or BOE spill, please contact the staff or the EH&S. Do not attempt to clean up the spill yourself or with other users. If you have chemical exposure or splash on your body, please follow the protocol shown here. Please remember the locations of emergency showers and eye wash stations. If you are near a wet bench when you're exposed, just use the DI water gun at the bench to flush your affected area. If you are exposed to HF or BOE by accident, please follow the procedure listed here immediately. Please remember that you must be trained before you can use HF or BOE. In addition, diluted HF and BOE are just as dangerous, if not more so. Here's the protocol for earthquake. Once the shaking stops, please follow the steps shown here. Here are the tips for earthquakes of extreme magnitude. Cleanroom policies. When in doubt, please check the NanoLab website first. Most of the information you need can be found on the website. LabRunner is the software that controls everything you do as a user of NanoLab. Please learn how to use it. The best way to communicate with other users and staff is via email. Here is a mailing list, NanoAll, of all users and people in charge of NanoLab. Announcement of equipment status, training sessions, and special events are published here. Inside the cleanrooms, you can use the landlines to dial 911 in case of emergency. You can also call any other extension on campus. There is a dress code for the cleanrooms. Please study and follow it. You also need to know what cannot be brought into the cleanrooms. The general rule is that anything that generates dust particles is not allowed. Here is a list of what is allowed inside the cleanroom. If you want to bring something into the cleanroom, please wipe it down first in the gowning room. You can also bring in your small lab tools like tweezers, wafer carriers, and glassware. You can store them in the cleanroom if you have cabinet space. You need badges to access either cleanroom. Do not share your badge or lend your badge to anyone else. If you forget to bring your badge, sign out a temporary badge. A NanoLab user can bring up to 3 visitors at one time. Please notify the staff to get approval by email at least 12 hours ahead of the visit. The visitors cannot participate in processing or operate any equipment, they can only observe. For details of the visitor protocols, please refer to the user guide. Here is a checklist for what you need to complete in order to become a new user of NanoLab. Please check the calendar on the website to find the date, time, and location of the next walkthrough. Remember, you need to pass the safety test first before you can attend the walkthrough. This is the end of orientation video.